Okay, video vlog check everybody, Azrael here and we are back again for another vlog and you are watching my YouTube channel that features lifestyle, travel, food and tech and also unboxing. Hello everyone, hello Humanista, this is Miko Santos again for our first episode for this video podcast and audio podcast as well, Creators and Me. For this episode, syempre, sino ba ang paborito kong vlogger dito sa Pinas? Please welcome to si Azrael Coladilla. Kamusta ka na, Azrael?
Hello, Miko. Kumusta dyan sa inyo? And here's area namin sa Cavite. Okay naman ako. So, yun.
So pag-usapan natin yung paano ka nagsimula sa vlogging?
So, actually, nag-start ako mga mid-90s. Mga mid-90s. Hindi pa siya tinatawag na vlogging. We call it parang newsletter. I started writing newsletters. It's all about pop culture. So yun yung hilig ko about comic books, movies, video games, and mga events in Manila. And ever since, nauso na yung email, di ba? Email, website, nagkaroon ng internet boom during the late 90s. I think I encountered the internet around 1997. So around that time, 97, 98, 98 and 99, natuto na akong gumawa ng website. I created my own website using those free hostings. And syempre, during that time, we have the Netscape Navigator, which is merong Netscape Composer, which you can edit and make websites. So, nalaman ko yung way on how websites are connected. So, nag-start ako gumawa doon ng aking website about a newsletter, mga news and information about pop culture and events in Manila. So, doon sa gumawa ako ng Yahoo Groups, na-discover ko yung Yahoo Groups, ginamit ko yung platform to distribute some news and updates about what's happening in Manila and also yung mga interest ko about pop culture. And then after that, nagkaroon din ako ng mga contributors, mga writers. So, yung newsletter ko, umahaba. And then I decided to make a website dedicated about that platform, about that news pop culture platform. So after that, during the early 2000, which is 2003, some of my comic book friends, sina Jerry Alangilan, Ariel Atienza, Jacqueline Limting, they have blog websites. So na-curious ako, ano yung ginagawa nila every day? They are logging in and then may instant website sila. I can see their artworks, their production in the making, yung mga artwork and comics nila. So na-curious ako, ano yung ginagamit yung platform? Parang Blogspot ang tawag. So they are blogging before my time na nag-start ako. I think they are blogging for a year that time. So nagpaturo ako kay Ariel tsaka kay Jack. At doon ko natutunan yung napakadali pala ng ganong platform na blogging sa Blogspot. So sabi ko, hindi ko na kailangan kumuha pa ng mga free hosting kasi meron na din. Kasi nga that time, you cannot host your photos pa. We are using Photobucket. Yan, Photobucket. Alam na marami.
Tagal na photo
no?
pa.
Tagal na nun. Photobucket.
Buti hindi mo sinabi yung multiply.
Wala pang multiply. It was before multiply. It was before that. Maraming mga hosting platforms na we use back then, early 2000, but today they are already dead. But still, Photobucket is still here. And doon ko natutunan yung how to embed photos, natutunan ko yung how to embed videos. During that time, we don't have yet YouTube. So I used tripod.com to host some of my images and videos through Tripod, Lycos company yata yun. And during that time, nag-evolve na nagustuhan ko yung style of blogging. It's like, since wala na pa naman akong work dati, so what I did is transfer all of my interests dun sa blog na yon. And I also starting to write about a diary about my life. since during that year, I'm still very young, I'm still very curious and adventurous. So yung mga yung mga post ko doon medyo pilyo. Medyo kolokoy kasi ko dati. It's all about uh, my personal life are very open. Which is nalaman ng dad ko, ayaw pala niya ng ganon. So, okay lang. Hindi ko dined ko kasi dad ko, yung family ko ay nasa US na that time. And they're not uh, okay yung sa ginagawa ko kasi very personal yung lalagay ko. So sabi ko, that's blogging. That's what I write. I journalize my personal life at may mga taong nakakabasa, nakikilala ko, which is okay lang naman. And then after that, during the 2005, 2006, 2007, nag-boom na yung blogging. It became mainstream. So my blog, a transition of a journal, a diary of my life, ginawa ko parang sort of newsletter type content na about pop culture, hanggang sa nagiging branded content na. Kasi doon na yung time na companies and brands are tapping me. Hindi ko pa alam what I'm going to do with these companies, why they are emailing me, inviting me to their events. So it's a long learning experience na what should I do? Should I just attend their product launching? Kakain lang ako sa buffet and yun. So nakita ko, I just started to observe some of the behavior of the trad media. Kasi nakakasama ko mga trad media and I started to copy what they are doing. Writing notes, for example, taking picture. That time wala pa akong camera. I have a very crappy camera, webcam na camera. So yun yung ginagamit ko dati. So everything is natutunan ko na I should write about it pala. I should write about the experience. I should write what are my thoughts about that event, that product launching. So dun siya nag-start na hanggang sa 2007 after I graduated college. Sabi ko, sige, tuloy-tuloy ko na to. Since wala na akong school, I can focus more on the blogging. So nag-blog na ako. Nag-blog. Even before na naging student ako, college days din, nasa era pa rin ako ng vlogging pa rin yun. Nakakatawa kasi yung transition ko about my life, kasi nung una nag-stop kasi ako ng school, so yung mga activities na nasusulat ko is all about my adventure in the outside world. So pumasok yung as a student, so yung mga pinopost ko all about my student life from nag-enroll ako nung graduate ako. So nag-transition din back again to a branded content blog. So naging mainstream na rin din siya. And then after that, napagod na rin din ako. Mid 2010, I started a family. Nagka-family ako. So all of my content are about families, about baby products, being a father. So nag-start na. So nagbago na naman yung concept ng blog ko. And then around 2016, I decided to trim down the content of my blog kasi napapagod na rin din ako. My energy is trying to slow me down na rin din. Tsaka yung content are very aggressive. Sobrang dami. I cannot control everything na. So I trimmed down all of my content. So nag-focus ako. So my core content in my blog is all about lifestyle, travel, food, and tech na lang. So I concentrated on those 4 kinds of content. Tapos ayun na, mas fluid na yung galaw ko. I can do more na. But still, pag may mga content naman na hindi naman siya ganun ka nako-fall under those 4 core content, okay lang naman din. Basta priority ko lang is yung 4 is one of my core content na should have more focus palagi. So after blogging, I went to YouTube. Nagbago na rin din yung behavior ni YouTube. So sumabay na rin ako sa flow sa vlogging, which is a very rewarding naman after I think parang mga 4 years of hard work kasi nag-concentrate ako for vlogging 2017. So ilang years na? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So mga 4 years na nga. Tama. 4 years of hard work in curated content all about those 4 core content, lifestyle, travel, food, and tech. So na-concentrate ko yung sa YouTube ko. So nagbago talaga lahat. So buti na lang, internet is still here, YouTubing is still here, blogging is still here. the content is still here. Tsaka there's a lot of stories to tell pa din. So hindi pa rin nawawala. No? So natutuwa naman ako now. We're still here.
Nung nagsimula ka doon sa vlogging, what does vlogging did to your life? So, tsaka, kasi nagba-vlogging since 2000, pero hindi ka nagpalit ng hosting sa vlogging mo eh. Still Blogspot.
Yes, Blogspot pa rin.
Anong reason nun? Kasi yung ibang mga vlogger, pag medyo okay na sila, gumagawa sila ng sarili nilang hosting. Pero ikaw, you still remain on Blogspot.
Well, kasi, yung iba naman kasi, they do it as a business eh. So, they invested a lot of hosting plans, domain. Yun nga lang, na-observe ko, pagka ganun yung style, you are buying a hosting plan, palaki ng palaki every year, yung size eh. So, and I observed that some of the content creators for blogs, they post less photos. Kasi nagtitipid sila sa hosting. Yun ang problema. Ayoko ng ganun eh. Kasi what I want is to give the readers a very virtual experience of what I'm experiencing. So gusto ko talaga yung sa Blogspot is during that time kay Google, they have a good offer. I think they started as unlimited photo hosting plan eh. So Google Photos, before Google Photos was Blogspot. So walang metrics eh, walang measurement eh, walang size eh. So you can upload everything eh. So I think I took advantage of that free offerings nila until now. Pero syempre until now si Google Photos nag-limit na. So ang ginawa ko, I bought a 250 gigabyte size na just to, host everything. Nangyari naman is back then kasi libre, it's free. Why should I go to other paying some plan? So it's my preference. Mas gusto ko sa Blogspot because it's easy to manage, easy to edit. Kahit sabihin nila customizable si WordPress, that is true, but yung aking pagka-expertise, mas gusto ko sa Blogspot. Eh. Mas kabisado ko eh. And if I go to WordPress, pero nag-WordPress din ako, I hosted some website using WordPress. Pero may mga challenges din in that time na one click, sira yung website eh. Nangyari yun kasi I'm starting to understand some of the files of WordPress. I think I changed something on one of those .php thing, the file, and all the website are dead. So ayoko na maulit yun. So I guess Blogspot really help na in hosting everything. Wala akong naging problema. And natutuwa naman ako that time. Binili siya ni Google. Natutuwa naman ako nung ginuo siya ni Google. It becomes more easy na for example, my Yahoo account was as a login sa aking Blogspot noon. So when Google took over, natuwa ako kasi I want to leave my Yahoo account. So tama-tama may Google ako. So I link my Gmail doon sa Blogspot. And everything is easy peasy. So ano pang gagawin ko? Everything is linked. So wala na akong problema. And that time din na binili din hindi naman binili, yung YouTube is naging na rin din, one of the popular sites na rin din. So, nakalink lahat eh. So, walang problema. So, everything is under one ownership na hindi ko na kailangang mag-login different accounts. So, yun na gusto ko sa kanya. But, ngayon, I'm still sticking to Blogspot. I have two blogs na. I have two blogs running now. And yung first is yung original ko na azraelsmaryland.blogspot.co, which is I think magna 19 years na next year yata. Hindi ko alam kung 19 or 20, hindi ko na mabilang eh. 2003, do the math na lang later. No? And I created a separate blog which is azraelsmaryland.com. So bumili na ako ng domain hosting, domain name just to separate a part of my content creation. Kasi yung azraelsmaryland.blogspot, that's my parang diary. That's my diary. So, na-mix up na siya ng mainstream content. So, medyo ang pangit na ng dating. So, nawawalan siya ng identity. I created the azraelsmaryland.com so that yung mga mainstream content doon na. yung mga PRs, mga promotionals, doon na para at least I wanna keep those two sites wholly on each own content style. So may diary pa, yung diary ko it's still there, and then siya naman pang branded content na. At okay siya, maganda na yung platform ni Blogspot. I still like it. And one of the reasons din na ayoko rin umalis sa Blogspot is yung ranking din ng Blogspot, the website ko. Mataas. Mataas yung ranking niya sa Google. Ito, meron kami na tawag na page rank, domain name authority. Ang taas eh. It's one of the, they say it's priority ni Google when it comes to Google search. So taas yung ranking niya. So ayoko siyang alisin o ayoko siyang patayin. I still want to use it. Pero as a diary na lang siya. Pero still, I have some content like mga reviews, my opinions, thoughts, comments. Doon na siya mag-fall. Para at least separated siya doon sa mga PR content. So, ayun.
Matagal ka na nagba-vlogging, so marami ka rin mga TV appearance, syempre, like Brigada, Pop Talk, Extra Extra. Meron ka rin na awards din, tsaka radio guesting. So ano ang opinion mo, sa tingin mo is, syempre yung journey mo talagang hard work yung ginawa mo eh. From 2000 to up to now, marami ka nang nagawa. What do you think the difference between during that time at ngayon? Kasi ngayon parang madali ka na lang maging sikat, for example, na dahil marami kang follower, bigla-bigla. So, it's not hard-earned na katulad ng ginawa mo. Ano yung opinion mo doon sa ganon?
Masabi ko lang, no, back then, mahirap pakilala, mahirap gumawa ng credibility, integrity. Mahirap no, kasi everything is starting. So, yung learnings ko about writing, photography, videography, editing a photo, editing a video, lahat it's self-taught eh. Pinag-aralan ko, ako lang mag-isa eh. So, mahaba yung process ko. Compared to what a new content creator will do today, nandiyan na lahat ng tools na kailangan nila. It's very easy. And because of social media like Facebook, Twitter, and everything, mga online forums, people learn how to communicate via words properly. So, yung status updates dati, minsan, 3 sentence lang, malakas maki-influence eh, di ba? Compared to what we are doing back then, we need to create at least 500 words eh. Kasi kailangan din namin yung for Google eh, for the SEO. So, kailangan talaga planado. Para at least makita ka at mabasa. So, comparing two different generations of creators, from as an early adopter ang sa new adopter, mas madali silang makakapag-adapt ngayon kasi alam na nila yung kumbaga shortcut na. I mean, hindi eh. It took me 10 years pa yata bago ako makakuha ng magandang audience eh. I mean talagang kasi maybe because we are parang siguro mga 100 vloggers lang yata kami dati. Parang mga 200, 300 vloggers lang kami. So kami yung nakikita palagi ng mga tao until napag-usapan din siguro din nila, kaya ko din gumawa nun. So everybody can be a blogger. So hanggang sa na-expand yung kanilang learnings, ako din, kumbaga sila is they're trying to learn more in creating content. Ako naman, I'm thinking, exploring what are the upcoming ways to deliver content. So, baliktad, kung yung mga starting pa lang, they're trying to figure out pa. But the tools that they need are already there, are already here. But kami mga oldies, they call us veterans na rin eh. We try to think away. Ano pa yung mga okay na platform? Ano pa yung mga okay na style to deliver content? So iba na yung we are thinking about strategy na eh. Hindi na yung creation eh. So yun yung style. Pero ngayon, nakita ko naman maraming magagaling. Parang in a less than 1 month, sikat ka na eh. Because of platforms ni Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, people can be much more famous pa kung because of their skills, because of their facial, maganda yung mukha nila, maganda yung suot nilang damit, pogi sila. Iba naman is very entertaining. So if they have those skills, talagang madaling pag-usapan ng tao. So sumisikat talaga sila. Ako, hindi naman ako gano'n. Hindi naman ako pogi. So dadaan ko na lang sa gadgets. Yung mga gadgets ko dito. Doon ko na lang dadaan kasi yun lang yung what I have eh. What I can show. My toy collection, for example, my travel, my food experience. Yun yung aking bala for content sharing. So, yun yung nakita kong difference. Parang sasabi ko, parang nagkaroon ako ng talk dati when in Manila. Parang sinabi ko nga, you don't need to be famous. Tapos, kailangan mo maging handsome ka. Kailangan mong pogi ka o maganda ka. Pero you have the skills. Magaling kang mag-edit, magaling kang gumawa ng content. Yun yung magandang ipakita. Doon ko pwede kang mag-trend at saka sumikat.
So sa isang content creator katulad mo, very important ba pa magke-create ka sa channel mo is kailangan marunong ka sa storytelling?
Ay, hindi naman kailangan. Pero para mag-engaging yung viewers mo, kailangan mapakita mo yung start and finish. Parang manonood ka ng movie. Hindi ka pwede manood ng movie na nakita mo na yung ending bago yung simula. Yung mga ganong flashback thing. Pero sa mga vlogging sa YouTube, kailangan pakita mo yung introduction, yung body ng story mo. Kung meron kang tawag dito, struggle, may winnings, kumbaga ano tawag dito, if you have a problem, you need to have a solution. Ayan. So yung tao will be curious if they know the problem. Ano ang mangyayari, di ba? Then nag-struggle ka to solve the problem. And then after that, may solution ka na. So yung gusto ng mga tao, kumbaga may story yung story mo. You introduce, show the problem, nag-struggle ka sa problem, and then you get the solution. Tapos ending, goodbye. Yun yung maganda, para na-time mo na-hook yung mga tao eh. Same goes to travel vlogging. Siyempre, ang tao, makikita nila, gusto nila makita. Saan ka sumakay, saan ka nag-landing, saan ka mag-hotel, saan ka nag-tour, ano yung mga na-experience mo doon sa tour na yun. And then, pag uwi mo, you have a conclusion. Ano yung nagustuhan mo sa pinuntahan mo? Same thing as food. Ganun din. You show the price of the food. You show the restaurant, for example, tapos pakipakita mo, kumakain ka, and then conclusion. Kaya talaga may conclusion talaga eh, para at least yung mga tao, they will learn what are your review, comments, and thoughts about sa mga experience na yun. Storytelling is important pa rin din. Pero for others, dinadaan nila yung storytelling in a different way. Kasi iba kasi ang hirap masakyan eh, because some of the videos are no talking, silent movie pa nga, puro music, puro effects. So, depende na lang sa viewers on what they can understand sa visuals. Ayun, sa visuals. So, kung wala siyang storyline, yung viewer will create their own storyline na lang din. Kasi baka ganun gusto yung pakita. Ganun kasi baka gusto niya ganun na lang yung meaning na nakita nilang visual. So, depende na rin sa viewers.
So you're saying pa rin pala, so if you're creating yung content, do you think as a content creator, you have to have your own niche or audience bago ka mag-create ng content?
Before ka mag-create ng content, you should know na sang niche ka pupunta. What are your topics? If you know a certain topic na hindi nag-exist, pwede ka mag-create. But ang challenge dyan is that you should love what you are doing. Kasi if you don't love what you're doing, yung content mo hindi magsasalita for you, magkakaroon ka ng problema. Sasabihin ng mga tao na ginawa mo lang yung content dahil sumakay ka lang sa uso, di ba? Pero hindi ka naman pala as one of us, di ba? Kailangan din maging part ka nung niche na yon. If you, for example, if you love uso ngayon yung mga motovlogging or motorcycle vlogging. Nakita ko, nanonood ako ng mga ganon. That's a good niche. So, hindi ka pwedeng mag-motovlogging if you are riding skateboard or a bicycle. Hindi motovlogging yun kasi it's a different vehicle yung ginagamit mo eh. You cannot call yourself as a motovlogger kasi wala kang motor. But you can be a motovlogger if you are not riding a motorcycle. If you are featuring motorcycles, di ba? Parang may nakita akong mga content dyan na instead of riding, they are just featuring the different kinds of motorcycles. At nakita ko yun sa mga old YouTube ko kasi may mga events akong pinuntahan dati na featuring mga bagong Yamaha, for example. So may mga video content ako doon na nag-video ako, nag-vlog ako about those motorcycles. Ay, na-surprise ako, sobrang daming views. Sobrang daming comment. At hindi ako motovlogger. I can be a motovlogger if I continue that kind of content. Tapos tsaka yung mga motoring din, yung mga kotse, all about cars. So may mga times na we review some of the Mazda, Suzuki, cars kasi pinapa-review. So yung mga friend kong vloggers na marunong mag-drive na may license, sumasakay ako, we took a trip, gumawa ko ng vlog about the car. Na-surprise ako, maraming views, maraming comments. So you can be a part of the niche but if you love what you are doing. So kung nakita mo na you can fit in, okay lang. Kung kaya mo gumawa ng content for a one time or two time, okay lang naman din. But kung paninindigan mo na you'll go full blast, kailangan iwan mo yung ibang niche mo. Or maybe you can create another channel, focus on that niche. Pero kailangan mong panindigan na you should love the topic. You should love what you are doing. Para hindi ka kasi mahirapan sa end.
Para hindi ka lang yung nakikisakay.
Okay lang naman din makisakay kung kaya mo. Kung kaya mo yung ganun. Lahat naman for example, ngayon, uso yung Squid Game. Ako, Squid Game na rin din ako pagkatapos. So, depende naman yun. Pero syempre, hindi forever ganun gagawin ko. So, one time lang na since part of the trend, I'll do this. I'll show you what I learn, what I know. Pero yun lang.
So, alam ko nag-YouTube ka rin. So, you got almost malapit ng 10,000. So, subscribe po kayo kay Azrael sa YouTube. So, kasi napakasipag mo mag-post ng mga video sa YouTube aside from rating the blog. Next question ko is, hindi ka ba nabe-burn out? O paano mo siya nasusolusyonan if think nabe-burn out na ako sa mga ginagawa ko? Ikaw ba'y lumalayas, nag-swimming, or ano yung option na ginagawa mo? Kasi sa YouTube, everyday, halos meron ka mga video na ginagawa
Yes, nababurnout naman din ako. Parang last time ako na-burnout was last year in the middle of the pandemic. Kasi wala na akong magawang content I tried doing some new content. Pero parang hindi ko gusto Hindi ko gusto yung style Kasi sa bahay lang, it's lockdown Lockdown, we can't go out, we can't do something. So everybody is watching me sa bahay. You can see the same room, the same face, the same setup. So na-burnout ako after that na ano pa gagawin ko. So kahit na, kasi problema kasi dati na-burnout ako na walang ginagawa. Yun yung kakaiba sa akin na-burnout ako sa walang gagawin. Kasi walang content na mapapakita. So, ginisip ko, pahinga muna ako, for a week, for example. And then, I write sa notebook ko, mga notes, mga kailangan kong i-shoot on this day. kailangan kong i-upload on this day. So may mga shot list ako, may mga topic list ako na nakalatag na. Example ba ako dito? Tab ko pala. I'm not sure may kita. Ayan, no? For example, I have my notes. Ayan, my notes. Ayan, my notes. I have my notes. Ayan. Pruweba. I list all of my topics. And I cross out if it's finished na. Yeah, so it means na-shoot ko na and upload ko na. So marami pa ako na sa list ko. So because of the list, nakapag-manage ako ng time ko. Ngayon, mas maganda ngayong time na to. Maraming gadgets na pinahiram, maraming mga gadgets na pinadala dito for me to try it and make a vlog about it to show my audience yung gadget na to. So mas masaya, mas natatambakan ako. Pero syempre, may iba kasi yung burnout na napagod na napapasobra sila ng gawa nila. Wala nang time magpahinga. Ako gusto ko, pag mga ganitong oras, stop na ako eh. Tapos, pahinga na ako, nood na lang ako Netflix, tapos magkakape ko ng 11 p.m. Mas tulog na lang ako ng mga 12 o'clock o 1 a.m. So, yun yung aking routine. So, nagkaroon ako ng routine na gano'n yung style ko. Kasi pag nag-stop ako, problema nun, yung workload, yung magpa-pile up eh. Yun yung talaga yung nakaka-burn out kasi hindi mo ginawa eh. Yun yung burnout na sinasabi ko na nag-rush ka na and you are doing non-stop kasi inahabol ka ng deadline. Mababurnout ka talaga doon kasi hindi mo na gusto yung ganong style eh. Yun ang ayoko eh. Yun ang ayokong style na mag-rush ako. For example, mag-rush ako ng 5 smartphones to review in one day. Masama yun. Mababurnout ka talaga nun. I guess some of the content creators are like that. Pero, ewan ko kung na-enjoy nila yung ginagawa nila. Ako, 1 phone per day. Tapos, after a week, 1 phone na naman ulit. Kaya medyo matagal akong gumawa ng review ng phones eh. Kasi ayoko ma-burnout na palagi na lang yung ginagawa ko. Magsasawa ka din eh. Magsasawa ka. Hanggang sa you lost interest, you quit, you stop. Nagdadrama ka na lang sa social media, post ka. Ayoko ka ng ganyan. Dadamay pa ako ng tao. I keep it to myself. Or maybe pagka ganun, I play video games. Ayan. Because of video games, na-enjoy ko yung video games. Nagla-live stream ako. Still part of my content. Kaya maraming ways eh na hindi ka ma-burnout eh. Pero kailangan talaga doon, huwag papagurin sa sarili mo. Kailangan, relax lang, dahan-dahan lang. Huwag kang makipagkarera sa mga ibang content creators kasi lahat naman yan, may kanya-kanyang audience eh. So, yun.
So, next question ko is, ano yung advice mo sa mga content creator like you na alam mo naman ng social media ngayon, napaka madali lang mag-create ng account, fake account kasi isa ka sa biktima ng mga fake account eh. So, anong advice mo sa mga content creator? Paano nila maiwasan ito? Or kasi like you, kinopya pati yung mukha mo, pinalitan lang yung last name, and then naghihingi. So which means maapektuhan yung brand mo at saka yung credibility mo.
Parang I created a YouTube about that. Masabi ko lang is, hindi mo maiiwasan to eh. Kahit kanino pwedeng mangyari eh. Kahit hindi ka sikat, pwedeng mangyari rin sa'yo eh. Masabi ko lang, kailangan lang talaga is, yung ano ko sa yung ginawa kong video, I think I have a list here, what to do if someone is impersonating you on Facebook. Sabi ko, number 1 is don't panic. Ayan, don't panic. So number 2, check the Facebook account yung impostor. Check, screenshot everything so that you have a record. Kasi if it's a crime that they're committing, you need to defend yourself with those evidence na hindi ikaw yun. And then one of the advice is do not message or add a friend yung impostor kasi it will spoil your plan to report it on Facebook. Tapos, madali naman mag-report kay Facebook eh. There's a copyright infringement form that you can fill up on Facebook. and then record everything na yung mga photos. So if you believe na those photos are from your Instagram or your Facebook then naka-public, just get the URL of those photos na ownership mo. Tapos send mo na kay Facebook. Facebook will do an action. For example, what happened to my case is within a day, Facebook deleted all the photos. So natuwa ako. Wait, actually, yung mga ganyang style kasi it took them mga 1 day at least. Parang next day, alam ko, next day, take down na yan. Nagulat ako nung after I reported it, Facebook already deleted all the photos. Wait, okay, so nawala na yung mukha ko. But the account is still there. They cannot delete it as a fake account because Facebook said it doesn't violate their community standard. Maybe because the name is not my name. That's not my full name eh. Kasi it's being used by another person eh. So yun yung basis. Pero importante, nabura yung picture. So safe na ako doon. Lahat pati yung mga photos na, everything is involved by photos. Burado lahat. Hindi niya ma-edit yung kahit kailan.
So what's next with Azrael?
Ay, hindi ko pa alam. Parang ngayon, nasa start pa lang tayo ulit eh. Parang, pero baka mag-slow down ako. Siguro mga next month. I'll try. Depende kung ano yung next na target kong gawin for content. Eh. Lalo ngayon, baka bumalik na yung travel. Baka magkaroon na tayo ng travel opportunities the next time. Kasi for travel, a few months ago, decline ako sa travel eh. Kahit may mga invitations na ako sa, for example, Zamboanga in Basilan, invited ako sa Department of Tourism. So, decline na muna ako doon. Pero ngayon parang medyo okay na. Depende, we'll see. I want to go back to travel vlogging kasi mas madaling, mas madali tsaka mas masaya. At mas ma-interesting ngayon kasi I need to show sa viewers what is like na sa mga provinces during the pandemic or after the pandemic o matapos man. Yun yung magandang interesting stories. What was left during the pandemic or after the pandemic. Para makita nila yung pamumuhay ng tao. Siyempre, we need tourism sa Philippines. Kasi ito yung bumubuhay sa mga tao ngayon. Kung walang tourism, mahirap. Pero hindi naman exactly tourism talaga yung target. Kasi yung target ko rin naman din yung mga personal interests ko. For example, pop culture, toys. Well, gano'n pa rin. Babalik din tayo doon once everything is okay. Lalo na, malapit na mag-Christmas. So maybe mga gift ideas na yung mga content ko. Depende. Pero stick pa rin tayo, vlogging tsaka YouTube. I'm trying to explore TikTok. But hindi ko pa alam kung anong style of content. Kasi TikTok is trying to be very aggressive eh. Because of TikTok, si Instagram nag-activate na ng you can post photos sa desktop. Kasi TikTok nauna na eh. Nakita ko, oh my God, si TikTok is trying to be the next YouTube talaga. So pinag-aaralan talaga, maybe TikTok is the next content revolution na talaga. Lahat ng tao doon na for a short form content. Kasi pag gusto mo ng long form content, sa YouTube eh. Which is ako, pag gumagawa ko ng content, long form talaga. Kasi gusto ko yung information. Lahat, doon, very madaldal din ako sa video. Ang mga ng podcast, madaldal ako. So, titignan natin. I'm starting to observe and gumagawa pa ako ng ideas ba ako. What should I post on TikTok? Pero meron na akong TikTok. Yung TikTok ko, meron akong for food and travel. At nakagawa na rin ako ng TikTok for geek culture, yung mga pop culture. Meron na, nakagawa na ako. And also about gadgets din yata. Pero hindi ko pa nabibigyan ng laman. Parang gumawa na ako, nag-secure na ako ng mga accounts. Just in case na mag-start ako, ready na. Ayan. O yan, nagbigay na ako ng first dib sa iyo.
So, okay, thank you for that. So last question is, if you had like a billboard to write a piece of advice to all our listener and audience, what would you say to them? especially if the listener is planning to be a content creator like you?
Parang na-mention ko dati, ang message ko lang is be a creator, not just a viewer. Palagi naman yung sinasabi ko palagi as an advice eh. Kasi kung viewer ka lang, wala, doon ka lang. Parang mas maganda you create also content para at least, part of the ecosystem na content creation, give and take. And hindi naman kailangan na maganda yung style ng editing mo. I think we really love sa family namin. We really love watching videos sa mga probinsya. Kahit simple lang yung mga videos nila. Phone line gamit nila. Very engaging, entertaining kasi we miss going to the provinces, for example. So natuwa naman ako na nagawa ng content sa mga province, showing their world, di ba? How they live in this time. So nakakatuwa na. So ako naman, napakita ko yung world ko. This is my world, di ba? So nakakatuwa na may ibang tao na they're learning how to do live stream, di ba? Natutuwa naman ako na hindi lang sila basta-basta as a viewer. They are now starting to be a content creator. Kahit live selling yan. Pero mo, may sikat na live seller nga, di ba? Naging instant celebrity. So, ganun yung magandang mangyayari. Be a creator, not just a viewer.
Thank you for that. So, saan ka makikita ng ating mga audience, listener, kung gusto nilang kumontak sa'yo?
You can check out my, for example, actually sa YouTube, mas madali akong makita eh. Kasi doon yung mukha ko eh. Just go to youtube.com/Azrael Coladilla. Ayun na. Pag nakapasok na kayo doon, makita mo na yung buong buhay ko.
Alright, salamat again. So, thank you very much, Azrael Coladilla. Thank you.
Maraming salamat din, Nico. Sana magkita tayo dyan sa inyo next time.
Oo nga. Thank you.
Naudot yung meetup natin dati. Layo eh.
Okay, see ya.
All right.